Good evening. It is Thursday, March the 14th, 2019, and this is the Bull Market Watch. The question of the day is, are Bitcoin and crypto prices having a big dump incoming? Is this a crypto top already? I think we should review the facts in the charts, and let's see if and answer the question actually through this video. What does the start of a bull market really look like? So there's our goals for today. So first of all, we'll start off with our disclaimer. You can pause the video to watch it, or you can click on the link in the description down below. So here we are taking a look at the four main coins. We've got Bitcoin here, we've got Ethereum, we've got Litecoin, and I have Stellar or Lumens here on my chart. You can also see on the screen here today that I don't have the chat built into the live stream right now. I apologize, but I have it right in my center screen right in front of me, so I'm good to watch. And hey JC Denton, good to have you here. We've got investment vlogs along. We've got Viva Mexico on, and you've bit my bait there where you said, top, no way, this is just the beginning. I believe it's just the beginning as well. But there are some people who were saying that there's a big Bitcoin dump incoming, and I was looking at the charts and I was looking at them going, not yet. Uh-oh, M. Babs, you've got to go and get onto some online sources there to help you out. Hit the likes button, that's right. So your fee for watching this video here today is to hit the like button. And what we're going to do, in addition to coming back here compulsively and watching these prices starting to take off, is we're going to go through all of the 50 cryptocurrencies on Poloniex and grade them against our simple trading plan. We'll give them a color coding. Yellows are alert, greens are hold, blue is an exit, and we're going to be looking for those here today specifically. Near fails and fails are oranges and reds, and neutral is gray. So we can see here that our chart has gone really green the last little while, so that we have a lot of holds in our portfolio basically, and overall we have a greater average of cryptocurrencies that are holds or alerts, and fewer of them that are neutral or sell orders. And good to have you guys along. So if you have a coin you'd like me to take a look at, put it into the chat. And I know in our Discord, if you haven't joined our Discord group already, there's a link to the Discord group in the description below as well. Lots of resources down in that link down in the description. I'm going to move these out to a 30-minute view, and we can come back and take a look at these with a bit more perspective. And then we're going to jump into our overall trading. So we can see that we're watching over the longest time here. We're watching Ardor build up so that it was an alert. It pulled back. It was alert, alert, alert. And now finally it turned into a hold. It really took off and it's pulled back. And the great thing is that it's stayed above this support level. So it's sort of like a ratchet where it's pierced through that level, and then it's settled on top of it. And now that it's settled on top of it, lo and behold, the 1, 2, 3, kind of a little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and then prices broke out of that. You could take this as a larger 1, 2, 3 now, and if prices break above these levels, you've got a place to get in if you haven't already, and you've got a place to add on if you're thinking that this is going to be a longer term trend than just a pump for now. So the important thing again of this is that as we zoom in on the action that actually happened, after it burst higher, it stayed above these support levels instead of breaking down below. So this is one of our two different entry points that I talk about all the time. The one on the breakout, and the other after prices come back and they are showing strength off of the retesting these levels. So this would have got me for sure, and this one, then I'd just be patient and I'd probably take a bite on that one too. So after all that, when I go to our spreadsheet, let me see, there we go, now you can see it. This continues to be a hold, and some good rationale behind that. And I hope that helps in your trading. If that, just that one example of all of the stuff that I go over here today, if just this one example of what I did is worth your time, you can just like hit the like button and go and watch Star Trek, you know. Next we have basic attention token. The basic attention token, we got to zoom out to a longer term view to get a perspective on this now, because we had the bottom formation and we turned it green quite a while ago, and it's going up and no stopping it for now. We're looking at the 1 day bars. Now if I zoom into the 3 day bars, so we're looking at 12-hour views. Now we're starting to look for that blue, the cold fish. When do we get out of this? Let me know if the sound is good or not as well. So when do we get out of this? There are a couple different ways we'll be watching for now in all of the cryptos. And one thing I'm looking for here today specifically that I didn't mention right off the start, damn it, but I'm watching for March the 12th. A high on March the 12th and then a pullback. Of course, we're only into one coin. March the 12th. There it is, March the 12th. There's our burst out on March the 12th and a pullback. Is this a top and then the pullback is going to lead to lower? If Bitcoin's going to do a big drop down, then that might be the case. So this is what we're watching for. Hey, Robert, good to have you along. Thank you for the feedback on the sound, because I have it turned up loud in my ears. This is a great chart. I'm just absolutely in love with all the charts. And it's a lot more fun than it was in November and early December. That was a tough slog, and to keep going through these charts day after day after day to keep abreast of everything going on. Hey, look at this. If you don't tune in every day, look at what happens so quickly here. When you zoom in on that, these are pretty significant moves. With the Brave browser, I doubt BAT will ever come down. I think you are right, and I think if you had invested into Google way back at the very beginning, the shares were $30, I think, when they started out. And that was in a very expensive stock share. And I don't know what Google is worth now, but I think it's quite a bit more. We should have Google price charts at our hands, but I don't follow it much. BCH ABC is building up to something. It's building up to something. So I have to put it as an alert now. Bancor Network Token. I'm jumping out of order, but that's okay. Bancor Network Token had a news release about a wallet that is now working. And you can exchange between tokens on the Ethereum blockchain and the EOS blockchain. Those are two different token ecosystems, and this will let you switch between those tokens. So if Binance Coin and KuCoin and those kind of utility tokens are actually a good viable business plan, then this one is going to go up. So is Kyber Network Token. We'll get to that. And of course, it's making a chart pattern that it says right now is a good time to be putting, $20, $5, whatever. It doesn't matter how much you put in. It's the percentage gains that you get, and you're watching these chart patterns. And then you just keep repeating that pattern, and those percentage gains will build on percentage gains. Success builds on success. Confidence builds on confidence. And you start to have some much bigger things happening. All of that, and that's a hold. Now we've got BCH SV, which I skipped. And it's also starting to look pretty good. I won't put it to an alert yet, but it'll build up too. BPT2. Okay. We talked about Quantum and Ripple looking great the other day. Yes, and I know Quantum did something good. I haven't got down to Ripple in a few hours since before I went to yoga, so, well, we'll see. All right, all the way down to BitShares now. Look at these big green candles here. And the placement of the green candle with this wick, and then the price settling down, and then another green candle with a big wick, big green candle and a big wick. These are, for me, these are pre-pump patterns. I'll try not to speak into the microphone too loudly. So this pattern is phenomenal, and I was just talking with a couple guys in our forum about when we were watching, I was watching this saying, here we go, this is the descending wedge channel, it's going to be a breakout from here. I don't have Bitcoin turned on in the background. So this is right when Bitcoin was building up, and we saw these as higher lows, and things were looking great, and then they weren't. Right at the same time as things were looking great, then they collapsed. Get that? When things were looking great, then they collapsed. So this is why I'm looking now at where things are. They're looking great, and I'm most wary of it. And so this is what I'm watching now for the cold fish, the top formations. Google stock is $1,185. So yeah, it went up pretty good from $30. So that was 10 times, and then 4 times more after that. Normal cryptocurrency. Normal for what we're going to be seeing over the next while. It's going to be crazy. These things are going to be doing. I can pull back to a 10 times on this almost in the chart from 1300 to, well, not quite, but 5 times, 8 times. And this bottom formation is enormous. Anyway, I'm going to go off about that one. I skipped one. So this is a hold anyway. BCN I skipped. And this one, it is an alert right now. If it goes up one more, oh, it already was an alert. Let's make it a hold. Sure, it's a hold. I would salt in a little bit into that, and indeed, I do have a little Bitcoin. Let's take a look at this Bitcoin chart. 4 hour. So we're looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I can't draw as easily on this one. I'll just scribble. So we've got this triangle formation. We've got the number 1 point. We've got the number 2 point. This is the number 3 point, and it was hard fought to keep that number 3 point right there. That really pushed hard and long before finally there was some release. People were calling for this to be a Bart Simpson and then way down, and we had it went up, and it went up again. People are calling for down. People are calling for down, and it's resisting and resisting. So it's impossible, of course, to really know, but there's the trading rules that you have that these kind of formations make easier, I think, because when it comes down to a point like this, it really gives you a smaller risk to reward ratio area. It's right to this point here where if it goes above, I get in. If it comes down, I'm wrong and I get out. And the error region here is so nice and small and so clean, and so it's an easier place to put on a trade most of the time. This one was harder because it came down to this nice triangle. Then it had a trap, and up it went. So let's watch. This is endlessly fascinating, but I do believe we're going to be seeing prices jumping up fast and hard when they go. So it's still an alert. I see we got, oh, pardon me. We got a bunch more people using the spreadsheet now that are logged into the spreadsheet all the time, checking these color coding setups. And if you would like to get your copy of this spreadsheet so that you can log in and access this stuff, then be sure to go over to the IntroToCryptos.ca and register. And then the second step is to go up along the top and click on the free course. And then you can get the free chapter from my book. It's the most important chapter, the most simple trading plan, but it's the core of everything else is built off of that. From this, you can really fly. And you also get access to the spreadsheet that we're updating down here, so that you can be checking it on your own time and make a copy of it, update your own, make your own version of it, improve it. That would be awesome. This is a very basic setup here. Now we're jumping down to burst, which is still languishing sideways for all of 2019 below these levels. So when it goes, it's going to be something. So in our spreadsheet though, burst remains an alert, which means it's like right away it could be taking off. Be alert on it. Clams, I sold mine too soon. I got out here and off it keeps going. So here's a lesson that I don't want to make this error and sell out too soon on too many coins. That's not a good thing to do. Fortunately, I put it into another coin that's going up, but not as much as this has gone up. So at any rate, what I'm getting at here is the exits, those blue cold fish that we are trying to look for in the charts here. We're not seeing any yet. And that's because we haven't seen any top formations and we haven't seen these moving averages cross over. So that'll become more of the conversation as this moves along. And if you'd like to learn that stuff faster and you'd like to get this whole trading plan in your mind instead of little wee trading lessons each day, then I think the trading course is going to be something that's right up your alley. That's opening registration on March the 26th, coming up right away. Clam coin, phenomenal coin. Oh, here's a great one that we've been watching for a while. We put it as a hold. It's great. It's blasted off. We're not going to be doing much with this now because once it's profitable, there's nothing to do. Our job is to get out of bad trades. Once we're into a good trade, it's not our job anymore. Once you're into a good trade, it's not your job anymore. It's not your job once it's into a good trade. You put your stop loss above your entry and you sit on your hands. It's not your job anymore. We'll get into how to do the stop losses and exit, but error on the side of that it's not your job for deciding how correct you are. Hold that trade for right now. Hold that trade. Look at this taking off. Beautiful chart pattern. Like it's great right now. Look at the zippers it's taking. It's going to be going up right now. This is a great chart pattern. We see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's coming to break out of that right now, which would be one of our signals. I just love how these chart patterns are so clear. Just technical levels are so awesome. And so now everybody sees this, right? All of the robots and artificial intelligence and everybody who's watching a YouTube video is also seeing these things. Our strategy is to either buy on that breakout or wait for it to pull back and then buy here. So we've got these two different places to put on the first part of our trade. We're going to assume that it's going to be going on for months. So we're going to add on to this trade when it's safe, when we have a little bit of protection underneath us. Beautiful trade. Beautiful technical analysis, which is different than trading. Double bottom, starting to show some strength. I want it to pull back before I get into it, but it's not a trade, right? This is just, is it bullish or bearish? It's not an actual trade. I gotta continue to remind myself. This is another one. We're gonna keep this in a hold pattern for a long time, and we'll discuss the exit signals and the options to get out, when to get out. Let me mute myself as this fire truck goes by. No, I'm gonna unmute myself and be quiet. See how loud it gets. Not bad this time. Do you know those ink blot patterns? When people look at the ink blot patterns, they say, what do you see? in this, there was a time I looked at it and it just stood out to me that it looked like an Alaskan sled dog. And I really went around and looked and looked and looked for Alaskan sled dog patterns, plans. But this is basically how it is, where you got the step back here for the driver, and you got the handle, and then you've got the big sled where all your stores and supplies are, and then the dogs would be tied onto the front here and pulling. Right, so we got the Alaskan sled dog pattern in Dogecoin, and I think that Dogecoin is going to be going up like this. And so you can bet I've got some Dogecoin. Now, was Decreed a hold? Yes. Decreed was a hold in this because, if I go back to the 3-month view, because it's like burst out and going stronger. And the purpose of the chart that we're doing here isn't a buy signal or a sell signal, but just general, is it bearish or bullish? So if it's moving up and it's broken out above levels, it doesn't matter if it's a buy signal or when we should have gotten in, it's green. So it's much more general than we do in the trading alerts. The trading alerts, they have a very specific where to buy in, where to exit. So it gives you a much cleaner, much more specific trading guidance. EOS. Hopefully that helped. Well, there was something else here. Cops are coming. Oh, that was the fire truck. They are coming to save people. What if Facebook, instead of making their one Facebook coin, they just bought Brave? Oh, probably in the works. What does this chart pattern tell you? It tells me it's going up from here. And I've turned off Bitcoin in the background. Tells me it's going up from here. There's never a way to know, but these triangle consolidations right above historical levels, where it's come back and retested and showed strength and stabilized there, it's a great place to put on a trade, because again, it's come down to this such a narrow point that you could put on the trade if it breaks above, and then you've got a very immediate spot. You know you're not correct if it ever gets down to these levels, right? You've got a small, short little range for your stop losses to experiment with the trade and see if it is the moment that everything else is coming out of a bottom formation. This is building up and looking like it's going to take off. Oh, there we go. So it is a hold, and I love going through the analysis of there. If that analysis just by itself, without anything else that we've done so far, if this is helpful to you and this turns out to be a positive thing here, pay for this video with the like button. It does make me happy. That's the difference it makes when you hit those like buttons. I look at them afterwards. Ethereum Classic. Oh, it's a great looking chart. It's still an alert. Leaving soon, you can just book a schedule with it. It looks so certain. Here's another nice triangle shape. This is another chart that has to be appreciated from a distance. So looking at the 1 week view, this is an amazing consolidation pattern here in the chart. Really amazing historical prices. We will look back on this and say, what a moment. what a moment, just right now as this consolidation is happening, as we see Bitcoin making the bottom formation in the background. It's marked as an alert, but it's certainly pretty hot. Now, one of the questions we had at the beginning was, is this the top? So far, we're not seeing any tops. We're not seeing any of our blue cold fish. We're not seeing any trend lines being broken on the uptrends. We're not seeing any 1, 2, 3 top formations. We're not seeing any parallel channels where prices are coming out of the top of. We're not seeing any of that stuff. And we'll be watching for those, and we'll draw them all out. But right now, we're not seeing them. But the question is, how can you really tell when it is a bull market? One thing that we have is our trading crypto alerts package. It's not just the alerts, but it's the training that goes along with it. So our crypto alerts are doing really well. I sorted these earlier so that we're just looking at the alerts that have come in just this month, just recently. So these are alerts via coin that were up 32% right now. Gas were up 9%, 3% on MTL, 59% on GRS. These are alerts that were written up. Let's see, GRS. We can click on this button. This was from the 8th of March. And then the prices took off and blasted into that. And we can take a look. These are from Binance, but really doing well. The question is, how do you tell when it's a bull market? One of the bonuses that you get when you sign up for this is the bull market back testing spreadsheets. You know, I'm rather thorough when I do these spreadsheets, and I wanted to answer the question myself. I wanted to burn it into my own brain. What are the patterns that I need to recognize so when the next one comes in, I'm in the right place. When it tops out, I recognize it and I'm doing the right thing at the right time. I figure I made a $500,000 mistake in 2017, and I'm really keen to not make that same mistake again. That was one of the painful mistakes I've made. Didn't cost me the most, but that one I don't want to make again. So what I did is I made a new spreadsheet, and it's called the Crypto Bull Market Mega Study. I went through all of the markets in March to July of 2017, from December to January 2018, and then the little bull run we had from April and May of 2018. Now, of course, we just lived through the little one from September to October of 2018, which wasn't much at all. But each one had a specific character of how the market began and how it ended. And so I've marked these all out where we could have made a 667% gain in folding coin by following this simple trading plan and following the exit plan too. And so if this kind of report of going through all of these coins for all of these years might be something that's super powerful for you right now, this comes as part of the bonuses for signing up. And you can just do a 1-month program, get all of these $450 worth of bonuses, discontinue, follow along with the free stuff, and you will really step up your trading. Really. Now we're going to continue on from where we were. We just finished doing Ethereum, and now we're going to jump into Factum. I think Factum has got something under the hood built up here. There's rumor that they want to get listed on Binance. Okay. Whoops. Not what I wanted. I want to get the volume back in there. There we go. I like to look at these volume candles, especially right now. And this is good, not bad. I like the chart pattern. If it breaks above these levels, it'll turn into a buy. So it's still an alert right now. Foam we did look at, and we marked it as an alert. Oh, we marked it as a hold. I was going to say if it wasn't a hold, it would be a hold today. Oh, Bitcoin just went up a notch. Damn, too much stuff here. All right, so we got little green candles going on all over here. Let's zoom into the 5-minute. Okay, not good. Good. Bitcoin, not as significant. I thought there was something new coming on. Not so good there in Stellar. foam is green. Next we have game, and I marked that green yesterday. So if I zoom out to the 3-month view so we get some perspective on this, yeah, I would say it was green yesterday. Maybe it's I'll leave it as green today. Leave it as a hold until it pulls back a little bit more. Gas we had marked as a hold, so it is pulled in nicely and moved up above these areas. So it's pulled back. We'll have to continue to watch to see how deep it goes, because it'll turn into a cold fish. Actually, it's my lullaby. It'll turn into a cold fish if it breaks down further than that. So I'm going to move it back to neutral just for our measurement stakes. I wouldn't be selling out of it if I was trading it, but for this measurement, it's neutral. Golem Network token remains the hold position because it stayed up above the support and resistance level after it moved up. What's going on? Hunter coin. Grin. I don't think there's anything going on there. When we zoom in, still way down. Hunter coin. Okay, it came up off these levels. Really poked through. Just great. Remains as a hold. The Kyber Network token. This is another one of those utility tokens for a central thing that exchanges tokens with other tokens. How does that sound? Does that explain it? But you should have it. That's what I mean. And I'm going to leave it as a hold because it's burst through our bottom formation that we were watching earlier. It's gone way up above it, and it's settled in but hasn't gone down below. So it's not a fake out breakout. It's a real breakout that is settling here. We'll watch it over the next couple days and see what happens. Library credit was an alert, and yay, it moves up to a hold. It's just moved up off above those levels. That's enough for me to be changing direction into the bull zone, into the moving forward zone. Of course, this one's been bullish for a while, so it remains a hold. The more of these turning bullish, there's less of us. There's less for us to do. Look at that. Now, here's another triumphant setup that if you were following along the last couple days and you followed this and you saw this, even if you didn't take action and you imprinted this into your brain, you saw this pattern, you recognize it now, hit the thumbs up button, because this is going to make you money in the future. This chart pattern always happens. It has to happen. Get used to it. Burn it into your brain. When we're looking for, at the end of a downtrend, it's your money-making friend. Look at the money it's made here in Litecoin for us. It's phenomenal. And it's continuing. I thought Litecoin was ripe for a pullback. It's done such a move. And the move isn't just, like awesome move. Wow. We can see this is, okay, that's the wrong thing to draw with. I'll draw with a straight line. So it's not as, we can see this accelerating uptrend. It's uptrending, then uptrending faster, now uptrending faster, and looking like it's going to be taking off from there. Woo! This is the kind of thing, like, you want to take a jump when you're on a bicycle as a kid. You want to have a really good jump. This is it. Made safe coin. I'm super favorable of, but it's neutral for now. We'll let that bottom formation shape up some more, give that project more time to get itself going. Here we go. Mana. Hold still. I got to get me some more mana and play around in Decentraland. Here's another great example. For the last few days, the last week or so, we've been monitoring this one. We've been monitoring this one. We watched this come to a point here. We watched it build up, and now off it goes. So if you were following this channel for the last while, then you have successfully started to build this pattern into your brain. And you're going to go over to silver prices a little later, not right now. Look at silver prices and gold prices, and you're going to compare it to these, and you're going to go, no way. It's amazing. It works in all different markets. NMC, name coin. I'm going to just what do I do with this? I'll leave it as a hold for now, but actually this is the first one that I'm wanting to do the cold fish analysis on. And the reason is this uptrend line at a double top that I have to now dig into more details, look at the RSI, look at the on-balance volume, look at the MACD indicator to see what is the nature of this double top, because it could be going, whoops, it could be going much higher yet. And unbelievable as that is, the chart pattern supports it. All right, so it could be a cold fish tomorrow, but right now it's still is a hold. Crazy. And this is the importance of having a trading plan, so that you trade your plan. You get your plan, you get to understand it, and when you see the market saying to do your plan, you just do it because you've seen your plan working out over the long term. This one is still a hold. What is that? Okay, I don't have that in the spreadsheet still. I got to make this duplicate of the spreadsheet and update that. NXT. All right. Like I say, got to have your plan. Otherwise, I wouldn't trade this one. Looks like a Chinese dragon. Yes. Yes, it does look like the Chinese dragon formation. Copy a link. Let's keep that. Awesome. NXT. It's making the formation. You got to call it green. We'll follow that over the next few days and see. This is next one's more my favorite. Alrighty. OMG. Beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I can look at this in the 1 day view and see in the 1 day bars we've got the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout pattern. It didn't come back. So when I talk about the two different options for getting in on a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation as it breaks out, we've got the option to buy in as it breaks out, or we're going to wait for it to come back, retest these levels, and then buy on strength. We'll see if this comes back to retest these levels, or if it's going to be one of those that just takes off and makes a much higher stage before consolidating again. Love it. This is a really great one. OMG, definitely still a hold, and it'll be a hold for a while in our spreadsheets. Omni, it's a hold, and it looks like it's going higher right from there. It was a hold the other day as it broke out of this long triangle and build-up pattern, and it broke out, came back, retested, and off it goes, showing strength. Wonderful pattern. Love to see it. It's so awesome to have watched this day by day by day and then see it taking off. It's even more fun to trade it, of course, but to see the pattern and get this pattern into your head. Here's one. That pattern is building up. It hasn't broken out yet, but it's like right there. I'm going to mark it as a hold because it's just jumping out of the chart, like jumping out of the screen at us. This one I'm going to mark as a hold as well now. And I might be a little early. 1 month view, but it's done much the same thing where we can roughen it up a little bit, where we've got the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's broken out above the major support and resistance levels, and it's shown support here. So on strength, it's looking great. I like that chart pattern. I'm going to mark it as that hold, though it could change tomorrow. Quantum we had marked as an alert, and it's a good thing too. I missed PPC. But quantum, look at that. Whoops. Before, what we were looking at is checking out this. Is it going? Is it not? Is it what bang. It just blasted from 56 to 84 and then pulled back. Crazy. My apologies. Phone call in the middle of a quantum phone call. How's that? I like what Bitcoin's doing in the background, but quantum, nice surge up, pull back, and it really held its own. So more strength off of this is another place to go. My M Babs. DLT, yes, I'm taking requests. I thought I had another one of this open. Let's go to Binance, filter by Bitcoin, and scroll down to DLT. I've always got to zoom out. Okay, so here's where I must have done some trading in DLT earlier. I know I've got a few of them myself that I kept after closing a profitable trade when it came up here. So now it is indeed making the potential for a trend continuation formation. If I clear this off, grab the Fibonacci tool and just jump from top to bottom as easy as can be. Look how prices fit inside those main Fibonacci's. These are the main ones you need. And it came down to the 38.2 in between the 50% level. So it's got a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation inside there. A break above that 50% level is another place that a really patient long-term trader that isn't in a rush, and this is extra money that they don't need to, they just need to slowly build it as a hobby, that they would spend 10 minutes to take a trade here, and then they would take another 10 minutes to add on to the trade here, and they'd look at it another 6 or 8 months later from now to be taking those trades off. And that's it. Long term, slow, it takes a long time for things to move. And we can see where we can estimate this to be going up to afterwards, just from this run here, where we will be watching for prices for DLT to be heading up these. Anoni Mouse. I love the name. Okay, quantum, I didn't mark it. Of course, it's a hold. Rep, where are we? Well, we jumped to DLT. That's why I got lost. But DLT, it's beautiful. Great chart. Quantum, so yeah, it's a hold and looks also strong, like it's moving up from here. Rep is the next one. And zoomed in like this, we can't tell. But zoomed out like this now, we've got a bit of a bowl shape, and a retest above these levels is a definite going stages higher. And I do believe this platform is going to do more because it's a groundbreaking new way to do betting on anything. And as the platforms that work on top of this engine for betting are built into other apps, this is going to become much more powerful, and the people who have the actual engine coins, just like these other utility tokens that are starting to become so valuable, I think this is going to be a really big one as well. 10 times from here type of big one. So that doesn't fit on any of the charts that we've seen in the past type of big one. So if we stand that up, it's up to 0.02 from 0.004, which is not 10 times, but 5 times. Lost. Rep. I'll put it as a hold. SBD, the mystery coin. What are you telling me today? Zoom in on it, and it is a buy. It broke out of that so nice. Look at that. What a great chart formation, and it just adhered to it properly. Look at the volume as it took off out of there too. So something big is going on in this project. This is an enormous formation now. This has gotten to be much more significant as it's built this huge 1 year long formation here. Stand that up. I need to get some of these. I don't have any. I always played confused in this market, and now I don't have to be confused. The technical levels are telling me what's going on here. Wow, I'm glad I first time I really saw that view of it. What do we got? Saya coin, still an alert. Saya coin, alert. SNT. All right, we already marked this one as an alert. Not very much history in that one, so it's more difficult, but we saw this consolidation. We talked about these triangles where it just gets so easy to pick to a specific point to know if you're right or wrong. And it's a hold. Steam, we know it's going to be a hold. Storage, we know it's going to be a hold. Even though this is pulled back a little bit, that's like yawn, doesn't matter. Remember that if we got in down here at this formation as we did as we were watching this, then our stop loss is just above our entry to protect our money, and our hands are under our butt, and we are sitting, and we're letting this take its time. We're going to err on the side of letting this profit slide around, take greater risk with the profit. I should blog. I do blog on Steemit. I just never take the time to put the stuff over there. And I did some work with Steemit where I was paying for all sorts of extra thumbs up, and it really works pretty good. You get quite a bit of activity, but I don't think there's any results from it as far as I can tell. But I do have a whole bunch of Steem. Where are we now? I bought, I don't know, $700 worth of Steem right about there, and it's not worth $700 anymore. But it looks like it may go up. So we'll see where that ends up in the next 3 to 5 years. I think there'll be something amazing. Oh, we're looking at storage. Okay, that's why I'm having trouble with this chart. It is a hold as well, but a whole different package there. STR was marked as a hold because it broke out of this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. Beautiful, nice volume there and everything. Great chart. Love to see it. Oh, yes. I'm hoping good things for Steemit too. You're right. I got to get back on there. And I'm happy to work it. Strat. this. What did I just look at that blew me away? SBD. Look at the size of this 1 year bowl shaped formation. Stratus. Look at the size of this. Not quite 1 year, but almost as big. It's as profoundly large. And when this starts to move, it's going to be going big time. And we'll look back and say, hey, do you remember that time? We were talking about this bottom formation and we were pointing out this. And M. Babs kept talking about my sister's mother of 3 children. She's a really awesome artist, but probably not fitting your wildest dreams, M. Babs. And so remember, when we're talking about M. Babs talking about my sister, and we'll be looking at this chart and we'll say this was the day, and look at what it's done since this day. This is a phenomenal moment to be able to sit and look at a chart like this and have the opportunity to put $5 on it, to put your mental thinking on it, to write it down, to say this is where I would have bought, knowing that in the future you're going to have $5 that you're going to put into place when there's another chart pattern like this. You're training your brain right now. Doom, 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 doom. And this is, I just got to like put bright stars and jingles and stuff on this one. That's why I told the story, so that it makes it memorable, so that we can come back and talk about this and look at this triangle. This is an ascending wedge triangle, and we are looking for these, but none of them jumped out at me until this one. I'm always watching for these ascending wedge triangles. I didn't even point them out in Litecoin, but we had a series of ascending wedge triangles in Litecoin. So what happens out of an ascending wedge triangle like this? It won't be an alert forever. Viacoin is another happy story. We were watching this one for such a long time saying it's an alert, 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 boom. And VTC we had called as an alert and turned into a hold quite a bit ago. So this strategy of putting your stop loss just above your entry and waiting for these markets is really important. If you take your profit too soon, you will regret it. This is the time to be adding on to your trade so that your winners are bigger. It is not the time to be taking profits. Don't take profits to prove to yourself that you can make a winning trade. Hold this trade. Hold these trades. We'll talk about getting out of them afterwards. But so far, nothing has jumped out in the conversation to say, oh, look at that top formation. Is this a top? Is that a top? No, not a word. What are we looking at here? Counterparty, I'll still call it neutral. Let it do a little bit more building on that bottom formation for us. XEM, I'm happy to see this one doing something. So it took a while, actually, all the way through February, a full month and a bit to finish this formation and just start to break out of it right now. Here comes another fire truck. Maybe. XMR, XMR. Here's my imaginary drawing, but this is a huge formation. Huge formation at incredibly important historical prices. A consolidation that is never made before. It's never made a consolidation like that before a run up. And this is now consolidated for, how long is this? 3 months. No, not 3 months, is it? More than 3 months. Building up. This is, it's an alert for, that's an alert for now. Tomorrow it's going to be a hold, sure as shooting. XPM, well, we got a bottom formation. It's broken out of it. I've got to say, again, I look up and I see I did as a hold yesterday. Okay, it is. And Ripple BTC doesn't look as good as Ripple USD. If I go to Bitfinex and only look at my starred ones, I can go down to Ripple BTC. Is that right? Yes, but I didn't want that chart. I wanted Ripple US dollar. Now this chart is looking phenomenal. Look at this. Just another one that's 6 months, 7 months buildup of these bottoms, and we're getting slightly higher all the way along here. I think this is also going to be taking off. It may not be quite as quick as everything else. And so when I go back to Bitcoin Ripple / Bitcoin prices, I'm going to leave it as an alert. It's looking good. But only because it's got these pre-pump candles going on here, and then it's pulled back. It's looking good, but it's right on the edge too. So that's a high risk one, actually. Oh, there we go. This is looking great. I'm going to move it up to an alert right now, and tomorrow it's going to be a hold because it's made this 1, 2, 3 here and a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. So any break above that will just turn it into a green hold in our charts. It's pretty, yep. It might be early. For example, looking for, depending on how you cut the break of the downtrend line, how far it's turned trend. ZRX. Sure, I can go over PPT. I've got some PPT. I always like to check it out. So we got lower lows here. It is consolidating, but I want it to develop more, so I'll leave it as neutral. And now for the highlight, one of the highlights of this show, we'll be updating this, and I expect the green line to go even higher. I don't know how the red line can go lower, but we can see we got 36 green, we got 15 yellow, we got 0, 0, 0 for greens and reds. Oh, that's from yesterday. And then only 5. Wow. Answer is zeros for the bears and a little bit more for the bulls. We can see that the greens went higher, so the alerts are turning into holds. The neutrals are turning right into holds or turning into alerts. Very, very bullish. Very. And as we slide this back and just look at the colors, green and yellow, a couple neutral, green and yellow, a couple neutral, green and yellow, phenomenal, crazy. Hey, a new super chat. Thank you very much, Investment Vlogs. I appreciate that. Those paying attention stand to be rewarded. Keep up the great show. Also, take a few hit points off GB Wally. Yes, indeed. And Parkside Artisan. I appreciate the videos and usually watch it after the live stream. Would you mind taking the chart for MDA? You bet. Let's take a look at PPT. And then we'll go over to MDA. So here we are on Binance. Filter. Get rid of the favorites. And we're looking for PPT. LMNOP. Wow, just from this long-term view, there is some big investments going into it. Look at the size of this candle. The size of this candle. You know, compared to the average, there's some big buying going on. Just as I zoom in on that, let's see where those moments were. Yeah, and they're not buying spread out over a period of time. It's a very short period of time where that buying is done suddenly and then it stops suddenly. Then you wait for a while, then there's a sudden surge of buying and it stops suddenly. This market was also wrecked by whatever it is on Binance that is wrecking markets like this, where it gets this big wick to the downside. There's been a few of them that are both on Poloniex and on Binance, and Binance will get the big wick down, but Poloniex doesn't. So there's something going on, some sort of automated manipulation thing. I wouldn't suspect anybody would ever try to do something like that, but I think that there is. So this has got some great accumulation going on in the chart patterns. It's made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and broken out. We've got the moving average crossover. It's all of the signals that I look for a buy signal. So in the simple trading plan, I've got a few different trading plans. I don't always just trade the simple trading plan, but it's clear. It's easy to explain. It's easy to learn. It's easy to practice. No, it's not easy to practice. It's easy to learn. It's easy to repeat. You can write it down. You know, so we've got the break of the downtrend line. We've got the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We've got the exponential moving average crossover. That's your buy signal. And then we have the two different options for the buy signal. We can buy on the breakout, or we can be patient, wait for it to come back and show strength off the retest for our buy. You do miss out on some that way, but you also filter out a lot of the fake out breakouts. So this chart pattern lays right into this is the time to be busy when the markets are consolidating. You're always busy. Then finally you get a good trade, you got a good entry, price goes your way, you put your stop loss above your entry, and then there's like nothing to do in your trading. And you'll be sitting there looking at all these other things to do, but you look at all the trades that you have and say, well, I can't do anything in these trades. It's awesome. It's difficult. Sometimes it's much more difficult sometimes to hold the winners than to hold the bags. Things that have gone bad and you're just holding a little bit of the loss and you want to make your money back. You can hold it without emotional worry too much. But when they're winners and they're up there and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to lose those profits, it gets hard to do it unless you have that thought in your mind ahead of time and practice thinking it. This is the hard thing. Practice. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why I created this channel, so that I could practice thinking my own trading plan and make sure I'm doing it right, because the trading plan is awesome. So long as I trade the plan, it is amazing. Whenever I don't trade the plan, I lose money. Now, this is not quite the same as many of the other markets. It actually hit a low in September and had a big surge up and did not come down to new lows in December, January, and now coming back up to September, October prices. This surged up and held through all the worst of it. So as Bitcoin came down, this was like holding its own, going, yeah, we got our own thing going on here. And so this is really like the volume going on in this underneath is really nice that you brought this up, actually. I do believe I have $20 of this, maybe $50 of it. Maybe. Maybe not, because it had already taken off here when I was doing my setup of my portfolio. So I probably wouldn't have bought this one. It was wrong timing for me. But now it is on a larger time scale, on a smaller trade investment, expecting wider ranges. This is an interesting coin for sure, because if you look at it in a larger time scale, it's probably going to be doing something triple, quadruple the price level it is now over the next, I got to be broad, 12 to 18 months. But really, if you can quadruple your money in a year, where else can you even think of something like that? It's crazy. What's our 4 doing? All right, so Ethereum did a little spook there, Litecoin, but Stellar's not moving. Bitcoin's just sort of hanging out. Everybody got really stung earlier today when things started to break up, and then they slapped down so hard. So all the bulls got stung. All the bears, they took on short positions. They all got liquidated. So people got whipsawed both ways in this move. It's pretty crazy. Awesome. Thank you, Investment Vlogs, for helping out with sharing the Discord chat link. That's phenomenal. We got a really good group of people on Discord. I get in there every day. I love it. I'm on there all the time. It's always takes up one of my monitors. Where is my live stream feed here? Here's my monitors. That's my trading desk. This is my microphone. My chair. It's actually a great chair, and I've used it so much I'm going to have to replace it. great music. Let's go and check out BTT. No, is that right? Yeah, BTT. For me, BTT is gambling. Just because it doesn't have enough chart pattern for me to dig in. Where is it now? Yeah, like it just doesn't have any chart pattern to do any technical analysis on. I know if I zoom it. Really? Yeah, like there's no movement here for me to do any technical analysis on. It would be a long-term buy and hold, but no, not giving me any ideas at all. I don't like the volume pattern. I don't like that it's. I would prefer to put, if I'm looking for a super low Satoshi coin, I would go over to Poloniex and look at, what is that again? Got too many B's in my head here. No, BCN. BTT USD. It doesn't matter if it's USD or it just doesn't have enough history to judge it. It looks like it's going down, actually. So any break below these levels is definitely panic sell everything. I don't know. But it's not making a bottom formation that's showing me strength and turning around the other way. It hasn't made a low and then come up and retested that low and then starting to show strength. It's a brand new coin. It's a brand new ICO. Never my favorite. I always like to give ICOs a good 6 months at least. I would need them to give me a chart pattern. I want everybody to get bored of the project and waiting for the development to come on. They slowly sell their coins, until then the project has an announcement and investors are starting to show some interest. You'll see it in the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. You'll see the volume patterns come up. So this one doesn't have it for me. I'm not seeing it as I do it in other coins. And go to Poloniex and just go to GNT and look at the history of this bottom formation and the buildup of the trading volume going into this. So you get such a build-up going on to these formations that the BTT just hasn't had lots of bull divergence on the 4-hour USDT. Not on BTT, Johnny. Not for me. I can't. It's my bias for sure. I see short time frame charts like that, and I just go, pfft. And I've missed out on some great moves too because I look at the chart and I can't make any analysis on it. And I just go to the next chart. Now, what's BPT? Get my alphabet exercised. All right, BPT. Oh, here we go. Wow, look at the steady volume in this. It's like a utilized coin. It's also pretty new. Or maybe I'm just not loading the chart up properly. I love the volume. I don't know what it is. Like this would require some additional research, but it's not a pattern that I would jump at first. I would be taking my money to some other chart patterns that are like this one used to be. That's where I want to go and find things. So this is a I would call this a stage 1 coin for this bull market. Stage 1 of this bull market actually started on December the 12th or the 13th. On the 14th or something, right around that range, just where this one took off a little earlier. And now it's consolidating. It may be ready. It may be ready for that add-on position and to go further. But normally this doesn't even fit happily for me, because I wanted to come back into these Fibonacci levels and then make its consolidation pattern before taking off. It could go up, but it's not fitting into anything of mine except for that enormous volume pattern. Look at it, it's just like quiet, and all of a sudden turned on the faucets. So given that, one week view. Oops. The thing that jumps out at me on the 1 week view for this chart is the point of this consolidation here and the flat line along. Like how did chart know to make such a flat line all the way along, just like that? It's just amazing that they come to these patterns. So when it's come to a clean pattern like that, then it gives us a decision point. If it's starting to break higher, it's worth putting a risk on for a trade. If it starts to break lower, of course, this is a place to be selling because it's making a top formation here. And it could come back to those Fibonacci levels, which are pretty normal for prices to come back halfway from a big move, right? Halfway from this move. So that's not my first market to trade, though it could be going. If I had purchased into it, I certainly wouldn't be selling out. I wouldn't be moving my stop loss up too close. It is something in the formation on NMR. NMR. Yeah, see, NMR is another one that I struggle with because it's got such short history. The only thing I could point out to it as it was building up was that if it breaks above these levels, it's bullish. It's a buy signal just because that's all you've got. This little range right there, and if it breaks above it, it's new, so that's it. It's just a buy signal right out of that little range right there, and that's all I could get out of it. If I zoom into the 1 week view, then it's such a lightly traded market, right? There's so little volume in it. Not my favorite market again. Even though it could be going up, I'm not playing with this one. Inverted cup. Maybe I'm seeing maybe what you're seeing here. Yeah, it could be, but it's such a small, for me, it's just too small of a time frame to make a pattern out of it that is big enough. And if we go back to the BitShares example, I was presuming to call this a bottom formation as this was shaping up. And it looked like it was. On the 12-hour bar time frame, it looked like a potential for it. We saw higher lows here in Bitcoin. Everything was looking like a consolidation, looking like it was building up. It looked great. But then we had that one key candle where it broke down below and never recovered after that key candle. So as we are right now in the place we are, I want to watch for those key candles, but today we didn't see any of them. As we went through everything, we came out with no cold fish that whole way, all the way along. We had nothing that was a near fail or a fail. Really, we have turned, I would have to say, we've turned the corner so that the tide is actually coming in. Now, how long will that tide actually bring us forward? We have the March to July of 2017. That was only 3 months long. Then we were in a long downtrend against Bitcoin, even though we were going up against US dollar, until Bitcoin topped out. And as soon as Bitcoin topped out and the pressure was off the alts, they spiked. And look at that. That's 1 month. That's 4 weeks. And then we had April to May. That was about a 6 or 7 week run, but it was a very small week run. Now we've got to be watching to see how long this is actually going to take off. And what does the top formation look like? In each of these different bull runs, there is a different style of top formation. To recognize that so we know exactly when to get out is going to be super key. Beautiful stuff going on today. JC Denton says, "Hey Doug, I have 25 coins that I am actively trading, mostly all green. Wonder if that's too many. Too many compared to what? No, it's not too many. I've way more than 25 coins, and some of them not very much of it. But then I have 6 or 8 coins where I have a majority of my investment. So if you did a bell curve type of thing, I'm well diversified across the whole market, and that is really good because you never know which one's going to be really blast. And yet I'm concentrated in a few of them that I know well and I like the chart pattern of. So no, it's not too many. No, right now I don't want to say sell anything because this is the very beginning of a bull market, and so the rising tide is going to lift all boats. I do believe that everything is going to be going up. And if you work full time, it's better to be doing the fewer trades and longer term approach. You work full time. This is not money that you need for your rent. You don't need it for groceries. You don't need this money. It's actually extra money. This is risk capital. Then you go to work and you do your work full time and let this money work for you. Don't work this money. Not right now. We have done all the work actually. And now it's the time to be sitting. It's the hardest thing. But now is the time to be sitting. As far as what I'm doing, as we had this price shakeout in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin all at the same time, and I was watching this real time, watching things spike, I thought, I'm not flinching. I'm not moving. I'm not changing a thing. When I looked at the long-term perspective, I thought, no way. This is the exact wrong time to be freaking out. This is the wrong time to be switching out of anything. They're all going to go. But of course, if you've got 25 different coins, they each have a different story. You will be able to tell when to get out of them because you are taking the course and you are in the alerts program. So that is all covered. We'll go over that in detail. If there are questions about any of those coins, you want to bring it up in our chat. I'll go over every one of them. That's what I love for it. I live for it. It's awesome. So bring those up into our trade alerts thing and say, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? Make a list of 25 and copy and paste and say, can you give me a thumbs up or down for each of these 25? Sure. We love it. But that about wraps us up for today. We've gone over all of it. It's looking phenomenal. Things are fantastic in the cryptocurrencies. And yet there are a school of people that are saying a big down dump is coming in. And let me zoom out to the 1-day view and sort of explain what they're saying. Easier for me to go over to this chart. One day, 1 week. All right. So looking at the weekly view here, the 200 period moving average is just below prices, and the 20 period moving average is just above prices. So people are saying with this compression of support and resistance together, we're going to see a big red candle from here down to these support and resistance levels from the past. And it would be a continuation of this down, and this down. And that'll give us our true bottom in Bitcoin. From that, we will make a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. A new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that'll shape up afterwards. Or what I'm thinking, right from here to 5,400. it's just going to go zip, and everybody's going to go, oh my God. That's my prediction. As a newer trader, learning when to get out of a trade is something I still need to educate myself on. It is one of the things that most people have the most difficulty with. And as I survey and ask people who are joining our Discord chat, or people who are taking the course, or people who are taking the alerts, I've seen it over and over again, that same thing. And I remember one of the top guys on Twitter, I don't know, some influential crypto guy on Twitter, put out a question, and he says, tell me, what's your greatest difficulty in crypto trading? And he had, I don't know, some 100 people reply to his thing. And as I read through the replies, it was over and over and over, most people saying they didn't have a clear plan and they didn't know when to take a profit. Those were like the biggest things. The next big thing was that they were always anxious when they were in a trade. When it was losing, they were anxious. When it was in profit, they were also even more anxious. So the anxiety of nervous and wondering is a result of not having a clear, specific plan so that you know exactly what to do when this happens and what that happens and when this happens. And you've got to drill for skill so that you see those things over and over in your mind. Then when it comes up, it's habitual. You just know exactly what to do. It's like the training that a commercial pilot gets before they get in to fly the jet. They practice everything that they can for every different emergency before they get into that plane. Same thing with trading. It's really dangerous. It's more dangerous than driving a car. If you go down the street and you swerve the wrong way, or you open your car door into traffic, other people will try to get out of your way so they don't crash into you. They're trying to protect themselves, but they also protect you from your own errors. But in trading, it's different. If you make an error, people are there to take your money right now. Not a question. They don't even know who you are. They just take your money. So trading is much more dangerous than driving a car. You've got to get ready for that danger. Otherwise, you're freaked out all the time. You're nervous, you're anxious, you can't sleep, you're checking the prices, you're thinking about it while you're out for dinner with friends, you're thinking about your trading. Something's not right there. Your trading has to be set up in a way that it gives you more freedom and more joy in your life, not that you are strapped to these charts watching them all the time. Yep, if you end up taking profits too early, then yeah, when you get kicked out of the trade on a pullback, I've learned about stop losses there. One of the things that we teach there is to have a different philosophy, is to do behavior modification so that you are reinforcing your correctness. You're cutting your losses small so that you're keeping your errors very small. But when you are correct, you are reinforcing that you are correct, which means that you add on to that trade and you don't take profit. Everybody else is looking where to take profit. We're looking where to add on. When you have bigger holdings in your winners and smaller holdings in your losers, you can flip a coin to find out if you're going to go long or short in the markets, and you'll still make money if you are bigger in your winners and smaller in your losers. Just by having a different position size when you're right, you make much bigger profits. And a smaller position size when you're wrong, of course, you make much smaller losses. So that philosophy, that risk control rule is something that I can explain it to you, but if you've got to practice it over and over again. I was a karate instructor for more than 20 years, and I can teach you how to do front kick in 30 seconds. Here's how to do it. But it takes years of practice before you get really good at it. Same thing with these trades. You can hear it in 5 minutes, but to get good at it is a whole different story. The difference between trading and technical analysis. I've loved this show. This has been fantastic to have you guys along. I wish we could have a live chat back and forth with voice, and we will do that on our Discord chat here coming up in the next while. Thanks again for tuning in and checking out the Bull Market Watch. I appreciate those thumbs up button. I'm going to go and count them afterwards. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.